What's up, Tenno? It's Tenno Prime checking in from the orbiter. Let's get to work. This is actually my very first time using Nokko, and right now I'm testing him out in Solstice Square, trying to do a fast upgrade on both the Warframe and his signature Archgun, the Arbucep. I'm literally starting from zero here, no abilities unlocked yet, and as I level him up, I'll be unlocking each one step by step to see how they feel in real combat. I wanted that genuine first-hand experience, the raw progression, before diving into any mod setups or build experiments.
This video is all about first impressions, how his abilities work, what feels strong or awkward, and how the Arbucep performs alongside him. Let's see what this new fungal frame is all about. Nokko is the 60-second Warframe, introduced with the Valis Undermined update. His design revolves around decay, regeneration, and control, almost like a living fungal organism that turns decomposition into energy. Visually, he's striking, full of organic detail and growths that seem alive, as if the armor itself is breathing.
Lore-wise, Nokko was an Orokin experiment meant to decay and decompose, but it evolved beyond its purpose, thriving instead of rotting. He's also accompanied by small symbiotic creatures called sprodlings, spore-like companions that follow him into battle and help spread decay. Gameplay-wise, Nokko is a hybrid Warframe built around sustain and area control. He rewards you for planning ahead, chaining abilities together, and maintaining good positioning. If you enjoy tactical gameplay and controlling the pace of combat, he's your kind of frame.
Nokko's passive is called Vital Decay. When he takes lethal damage, he doesn't die immediately. Instead, he transforms into a small sprodling form. In that state, you have a few seconds to reach one of your fungal nodes placed on the field. Touching that node revives you with a portion of health restored. If you failed to reach one in time, Nokko collapses completely. It's a clever, interactive survival mechanic, kind of like Sevagoth's Shadow, but with more strategy and tension.
Nokko's passive makes him highly attuned to the spores and fungal growths that spread around him. Whenever enemies affected by his spores die, Nokko absorbs part of their decaying essence, restoring a small amount of health and energy. It rewards aggressive gameplay. The more you infect and spread decay, the more sustain you get in return. This passive ties everything together, keeping him alive while his mushrooms do their work. First ability, Stink Brain, Nokko throws a living, pulsating mushroom that attaches to a surface or enemy. Once active, it releases waves of toxic spores, dealing viral damage and inflicting multiple status procs over time. Enemies caught too close can even be lulled into a spore-induced sleep, leaving them vulnerable to finishers. Stink Brain is Nokko's bread and butter for spreading infections. Throw it into crowds, combine it with other abilities, and watch entire rooms slowly decay. It's also great for setting traps or holding choke points, since the spores linger for several seconds. Second ability, Bright Bonnet, focuses on support and regeneration. Nokko emits a bioluminescent pulse from one of his mushrooms that restores energy for both himself and nearby allies. At the same time, the pulse grants a temporary ability strength buff, letting his other powers hit harder and last longer. This ability shines in team play, especially in long missions where energy efficiency becomes crucial. Bright Bonnet turns Nokko into a mobile support fungus, constantly feeding energy back into the squad while maintaining his own resource loop. Third ability, Reroot, transforms Nokko into his sprodling form, a small fungal creature that scurries around the battlefield. In this state, Nokko becomes untargetable and heals rapidly, spreading spores with every movement. The transformation lasts for a short duration, but it's perfect for repositioning or escaping dangerous situations. While Reroot might look funny, seeing your Warframe turn into a tiny mushroom creature, it has deep utility. It allows you to reset your health, evade lethal hits, and refresh your battlefield control. Enemies brushed by the spores released during reroute can also become pacified or slowed, giving you time to set up your next attack. Fourth ability, Spore Spring. Nokko's ultimate ability, Spore Spring, unleashes the full potential of his fungal power. He fires a massive, bouncing spore cluster that travels through the battlefield, seeking enemies and detonating on contact. The explosion spreads decay spores in all directions, dealing toxin and viral damage. What makes Spore Spring truly special is its interaction with Nokko's other mushrooms. If the projectile touches any active stinkbrain or great bonnet fungus, it invigorates them, doubling their pulse rate and refreshing their duration. Spore Spring is both an offensive and a synergy tool. It links Nokko's entire kit together, creating a self-sustaining cycle of decay, energy regen, and crowd control.
Now let's talk about his signature weapon, the Arbucep Archgun. It fires 6 guided fungal missiles that explode on impact, dealing toxin and heat damage that combine into corrosive for devastating results against armor. The Arbucep also introduces something new: dual arcane slots. With the new Archgun Arcane Adapter system, you can equip 2 arcanes at once. For example, Arcane Rage for bonus headshot damage and Archgun Energize for ammo efficiency. The tracking system makes the weapon consistent and reliable, and when used with Nokko, it gains increased status duration and spore spread radius. Together, they form one of the most flexible heavy weapon setups in the game.
Now let's talk about Nokko's signature weapon, the Arbucep Archgun. It fires 6 guided fungal missiles that explode on impact, dealing toxin and heat damage that combine into corrosive, which works great against armor and enemies. The Arbucep also supports dual arcane slots through the new Archgun Arcane Adapter system. In my setup, I'm using Primary Crux in the primary arcane slot and Cascadia Empowered in the secondary. Primary Crux gives extra status chance and ammo efficiency on weak point hits, while Cascadia Empowered adds bonus elemental damage whenever a status effect is applied. The tracking system is one of the best parts of this weapon. Once you fire, the bullets automatically seek out nearby targets, curving through the air until they lock on and hit the enemy. It makes the Arbucep feel smooth and consistent, even in chaotic fights. And when paired with Nokko, it gains increased status duration and a larger spore spread radius. Together, it becomes one of the most versatile heavy weapons I've tried so far.
I'm just starting to unlock Nokko's abilities, and right now, they still feel pretty weak. At this early stage, the damage output is low, the range isn't great, and his energy economy still needs a lot of work. That's completely normal though. Every new Warframe feels underpowered until you start ranking up the abilities and unlocking better mod capacity. Today, I'm planning to keep pushing his upgrades, running missions in Solstice Square, and focusing on getting as much affinity as possible. I'll be adding a few Formas to fine-tune his build and expand his potential, because that extra capacity really makes a difference once you start stacking ability strength, efficiency, and duration mods. The goal is to get him to a point where his decay effects and fungal zones actually start to hit hard and last longer. Once that's done, I'll start experimenting with synergies between his abilities, like how his Sprawdlings interact with Bloomfield, or how Mycelial Burst spreads under the effects of his 4th ability. After that, I'll move into full mod testing, swapping out different configurations to see which setups bring out Nokko's best potential, whether it's a tanky build for endurance missions or a decay spreading build for faster runs. It's going to take a bit of grinding, but that's part of the fun, watching a new frame evolve from weak to unstoppable.
I actually died right at the start of this mission. No surprise there, since Nokko's still really weak and this is a steel path run. His abilities aren't hitting hard enough yet, and I still don't fully know how to use him efficiently. I'm learning his rhythm little by little, but early levels on Steel Path can be brutal if your build isn't ready. Right now, I'm relying mostly on my melee weapon, the Sampotes, because I got hit with a 4-minute Archgun deployment penalty, so I can't bring out the Arbucep just yet. That means I have to go full melee mode for now.
which isn't bad since Sampotes can handle itself pretty well, but it really shows how much Nokko depends on proper setup and ability scaling. The good thing is that all of this is temporary. Once I finish ranking him up and get a few Formas in, he'll start to feel a lot stronger. I'm focusing on getting that steady progression, upgrading mods as I go, and keeping an eye on how his kit flows in real fights. It's going to take a bit of time, but little by little, I'll have Nokko fully tuned.
So, about Nokko's third ability, when I activate it, I actually turn into this tiny little mushroom, which is both hilarious and confusing at the same time. Right now, I don't really feel like it's doing much. I'm not seeing any big effect on enemies or noticeable changes in gameplay. It just looks funny watching my Warframe bouncing around as a little guy. Maybe it's meant to interact with his other abilities or trigger some hidden mechanic, but at this point, it's hard to tell. I'm definitely going to take a closer look later and study the ability descriptions in detail to understand what it's really supposed to do. It might be one of those powers that gets stronger once you combine it with the rest of his kit. Maybe some synergy with the fungal zones or the sprodlings. For now, though, it's more of a comedic transformation than a useful skill. I'll figure out its purpose once I start modding properly and can test it with higher strength and duration setups.
Finally, I was able to deploy the Archgun, trying to speed up the upgrades a bit. But of course, the moment I do, an Acolyte spawns in. This time it's Angst, and he's completely focused on me. I swear, he knows I'm the weakest one in the squad right now. He's chasing me non-stop, not giving me a single second to breathe. Every time I try to reposition or reload, he's right there waiting to finish me off. Still, I'm not backing down. I'm going to keep pushing through with the Arquebus, testing this new weapon all the way to the end of the mission. Even if it's rough, these are the best runs to really learn how a frame and weapon perform under pressure. Once Nokko and the Arquebus are both upgraded and modded properly, I'll make sure Angst remembers this moment. Next time, he's the one going down first.
People in the chat keep asking me if Nokko is good, and honestly, I still don't know yet. I'm still figuring him out, unlocking abilities, and testing how his kit really works together. Right now, he feels kind of underpowered, but that's normal for a frame that isn't fully modded or leveled. What I can say for sure is that I'm really enjoying the Arbucep. The tracking feels smooth, the explosions hit hard, and even without perfect mods, it's performing better than I expected. Once I get Nokko properly upgraded, I'll have a clearer answer. But for now, the Archgun is definitely stealing the spotlight. Sometimes in Warframe, it's not really about the mission itself. It's about the grind, the rhythm, the way everything feels while you're moving through the map. You start out weak, missing mods, trying to figure out how your frame even works. But little by little, it all starts coming together. The enemies hit hard, the chaos never stops. And somehow, that's what keeps it fun. You start noticing small details, how your parkour flow gets smoother, how your weapon combos start clicking, how the music and sound effects sync perfectly with every shot and swing. It's the kind of game where progress feels personal. Every Forma, every upgrade, every test build tells your own story. Some days you just want to experiment, other days you push for efficiency. But either way, the Origin system always gives you something new to chase. Whether you're farming, testing, or just zoning out while slicing through mobs, it's that mix of motion and mastery that keeps us coming back.
Release the screamer. Smash it, shake it, kill it, break it, crush it, take it!
My squad mates decided to extract and end the mission, but I was just one run away from getting my Archgun to max rank. It always happens. Right when you're so close to finishing the grind, the team bails out. I can't blame them though. It's steel path. The enemies hit hard and the run was already long. Still, it would have been nice to push just a little further to hit that final rank. I'll probably queue up another mission right after this one to finish the job. Once the Arbucep hits level 30, I'll start testing different builds and see how it really performs with max mods.
I was actually surprised when I saw the mission results. My damage dealt was the second highest in the squad. Maybe it was thanks to the Sampodes or just pure persistence, but I also ended up with the most kills and even led the group in accuracy. Not bad for a frame that's still leveling and barely modded. It just shows that even when your setup isn't perfect, you can still pull your weight if you stay focused and keep adapting. Now, I'm going to show you the random builds I threw together during testing. Nothing optimized yet, but a good starting point to understand how Nokko and the Arbucep work together. This is Tenno Prime from the Orbiter. Stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next video.
Operator, were you visualizing a bloody battle? Me too.